Hi, welcome to another episode of Things That Go Bump in the Night and Why. Normally, a lot of times when we talk about ghosts and stuff like that, everybody thinks maybe of a haunted house, a haunted cemetery, places like hospitals or something like that that have seen a lot of tragedy and deaths. I've already explained, I think ghosts are actually interdimensional beings, they're demonic forces. But still, when you stop and you think about it, but there's other places that demon spirits like to hang out. One time. I talked about how at a business in which I was at in a warehouse, I saw some supernatural manifestations of papers flying up in the air for no reason, like somebody just flipped them up in the air. You'd see somebody that kind of would walk right up beside you, and there would be nobody that would be there. But I also want to just talk about, there are other places that are out there that have hauntings, and there is one, and especially you would think around maybe munition sites, places of residence where people were building ammunition, dealing with gunpowder, where accidents could and happen. Well, that's exactly what we're talking about in an abandoned place in the Remington Arms Munitions, and it's in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Is considered one of the most haunted industrial sites in America due to a dark history of fatal accidents and violent labor disputes. It finally went out of business. It closed down in 1988, but there's still remnants possibly of people that were there. I call them familiar spirits. People would call them a ghost that are residents. They're continuing their agony while on the property. But wherever it's at, demonic spirits don't care what force that they want to use or manipulate to draw you. All they want to do is draw you. But so in Remington Arms Munitions Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut, you can actually go. They had a thing on there on one of the specials on a television special. I'll get to that here in a minute. But so let's just talk about tragic incidents or origins of hauntings, because demons like to use that as a drawing card. Wherever you see tragedy, wherever you see trauma, wherever you see stuff like that, they like that because they know it's going to draw a certain amount of people to that place. Can they be more than glad to accomplish what they want to do if they can draw you into that lifestyle and then follow you around and create havoc and mayhem in your life? Like I've said a long time before, you can invite the devil in. It's up to him when he wants to show up. Sometimes it's years later. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's right then. And sometimes they just like to follow you home and hang around. There's some people that like that. I'm for one that I don't. In Jesus' name, I just command them to go. But anyway, so there's tragic incidents of origins of the hauntings. For instance, there was an explosion in the plant in 1942, March 28th. There was a massive explosion of munitions buildings, killing several of the workers, injuring 80 others. The blast was so powerful it sent bullets ripping through nearby neighborhoods. Wonder how many got injured through all of that. But there's the grisly industrial accident reports from the site's history also, which accounts of workers falling into molten metal, being electrocuted, or suffering from low lead poisoning. Labor violence in 1914 and private security used lethal force to quell a strike, resulting in the death of an 18-year-old worker named Frank Mont and countless of injuries. Now, along with all of that, there happens to be a lot of reported paranormal activity that goes along with this. And like I said, a lot of times the paranormal is the drawing card. So the site was featured, here we go, it was in Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures in 2009. I'm sure you could pick it up on YouTube, where investigators claim to have captured evidence of abnormal energy. Yeah, well, demons can create abnormal energy. Like I said, it's the drawing card. There's been spectral sightings. Witnesses and local police who patrolled the grounds have reported shadowy figures creeping through the ruins and a strange blue glow from the windows. Auditory phenomenon, disembodied screams, yelling, rhythmic sounds of factory machinery are frequently heard echoing through the abandoned halls. Unexplained cold spots. Many who venture inside the remaining structures report sudden intense cold spots, overwhelming feelings of dread, oppression. There's a remaining place there that's called a shot tower. It's a historical timepiece. I think, in fact, they're talking about building it as in that place of Bridgeport as a witness to the industrial ability of Bridgeport, Connecticut at that time. You know, remember, Remington Munitions was at its height. It was providing ammunitions for World War I, World War II. It was providing ammunitions throughout most of your major conflicts to the militaries. So, historical timeline, there's a lot of things that have been happening, but there's also, to validate this, it's a drawing card, is police reports. There's the most recognizable feature of Remington, like we said before, was the shot tower. It was used to make lead shot by dropping molten lead through a sieve on top. It solidified into spheres as it fell into the water below. Well, most of the 73-acre complex has been demolished. The city of Bridgeport, like I said before, is planning to preserve the tower as a monument to the city's industrial past. Law enforcement accounts, actual law enforcement accounts of people that have written things, is the Bridgeport police officers patrolling the perimeter have frequently reported seeing figures on the grounds that vanished when approached. According to reports from the Haunted Attraction magazine, officers have witnessed disturbing screams piercing the silence of the abandoned place late at night. So it's just not houses that all of a sudden are the drawing cards. It's not just cemeteries. It's just not there. It's parks. It's in the average day home. It's in parks. It's in places of business. I said the demonic forces, spiritual forces, the paranormal is no respect for a person. It's just going to show up whenever there's a drawing card. And hey, a lot of times people actually are being drawn, and the spirits just show up just to show out, just to grab your attention, to grab hold of you so that they go, hey, if you worked for a business, if you worked anywhere in a place like that, you know, I live up here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and I remember a person that told me a story about a pizza joint that was here. I won't say the name just for reasons why, but they told me that when they were cleaning at night, that if you did not give homage to a spirit by the name of George, or tell George good night, or acknowledge George, you might come in the next morning and you'd have napkins thrown all over the place. You'd have ketchup bottles poured out and things moved around. So that just tells you how deviant that the paranormal and the dark side is. So it's just not one of those things that the paranormal is no respect for a person. It'll happen in a small town. It'll happen in a big town. It'll happen in a city. It'll happen out in the country. There's many places that they talk about haunted roads. And so I'm going to just kind of cover some of those little areas I got. Listen, if you've enjoyed this content, I know this one has been just a little bit longer. If you enjoyed this content, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I thank you very much. Hey, you all have a great day and be blessed. Thank you.